Central Coast Mariners 1, Melbourne City 3. At the end of this round 11 A-League men's fixture, a disappointing result from a Central Coast Mariners point of view and some things to talk about after this game. And look, heading into this one straight off the bat, I was confident. I was quietly confident. Mariners, 4 consecutive clean sheets across all competitions coming off the back of a fantastic victory to take us through to the FA Cup final. Look, we were taking on the reigning champions, and we know the quality that Melbourne City possess. But Mariners at home, I was backing us to get a result. We're going to talk about it all right here, right now. It's the live reaction. It's the live discussion. We've got the live chat up right here, and I see some of you guys have gotten in early. Cameron, a few minutes ago, said Melbourne City were just too good today. Look, Melbourne City were very good today, and I think that is a good reason why the result did go the way it did. But there is more to it than that. There is more to it than that. I see Jezeboy, Mr. Saints fan in the chat as well. Stephen's here as well. Chuck as well in the chat says convincing display by the citizens. Yeah, man. I mean, especially considering that Melbourne City themselves were under some pressure heading into this game after consecutive draws. They'd been letting leads slip. 3-all to Western Sydney Wanderers. 2-all last week to Adelaide United. Yeah, man. Oscar's in the live chat says, why were there no fans on the far side? Yeah, it was announced a few days before the game that they were going to block off no fans on the eastern side of the stadium. The reason wasn't actually disclosed why, but I imagine it's staff shortages, so nothing more than that. Where will the FA Cup final be played at, asks Mr. Saints fan. Hasn't been confirmed yet, but Mariners CEO Sean Millercamp has said that they're going to make an official bid for it as well. So we'll keep our ears and eyes fixed on that. But what I want to talk about today, of course, is this game, which has just taken place at Central Coast Stadium. Heading into it, there was some concern for both sides in terms of the lineups, but specifically starting with the Mariners. 5 players out with COVID, the likes of some big names as well. No Nikolai Muller, no Josh Nisbet, no Lewis Miller. Which was a bit of a concern for the Central Coast Mariners. It meant some tweakings in the lineup. It was Benny Cololo, Sai Goddard starting in the wide positions, Storm Rue and Ruan Tongic returning to the defence as well. Aside from that, it was a pretty full-strength lineup for the Mariners with some more young guys named on the bench. We'll talk about some of those young guys in a second as well. For Melbourne City, dude, they had their own worries heading into this game. So many key defensive players out. No Roston Griffiths, Curtis Good, Nuno Reis was suspended. No Scott Jamieson, the captain. So City had their problems at the back, and heading into the game, I was like, we might get something out of this because of Sydney's makeshift back four, if you like. Jordan Boss, Aidan O'Neill playing in the centre of defence as well as Kieran Stokes. Some of those guys had a really good game, but look, heading into it, I was like, okay, this is actually kind of balanced. I think we might have a chance. We might have a chance heading into this game. From the get-go, Melbourne City dominated the opening 20 minutes. They really did. We weren't in the game at all. Central Coast Mariners weren't in the contest at all. We were sitting back, holding City out for most of that opening period. But that goal did come in the end. 18th minute. The pressure did pay off, and City are very good at that, at squeezing teams in, making that pressure pay. And it was Jamie McLaren who got on the end of a nice little move, it has to be said, by Jordan Boss, who I thought was really impressive this game, the left back for Melbourne City. And J-Mac, he always finds a way to score a goal. And it does enjoy scoring against Central Coast Mariners as well. I feel like he always finds the back of the net against us, man. From there, though, Mariners that goal sort of switched things. After that 20-minute mark, Mariners started to get on the front foot. Some chances being created here and there, more so on the counter-attack. But the concerning thing for that first half was the wayward passes and the sloppiness and some defensive mistakes. Jacob Farrell made a couple fantastic tackles, should mention that. Kai Rolls as well making some decisive defensive interventions. But overall, it felt sloppy. We felt slow, lethargic. But it was Marco Rennie who rescued something for us late in that first half. 41st minute. What a move from the Costa Rican to get past the defenders, create the space, left foot, weak foot strike, perfect finish into that bottom corner. It was fantastic stuff. A fantastic strike by the Costa Rican, who is well and truly one of our key players in the side at the moment for the Mariners. Second half, I was optimistic. 1-1 against reigning champions, and the City had the better first half. And I was like, okay, no, we'll be right. We'll be right. We've got some young, exciting players to bring off the bench in the second half. It was a bit of the same. We did come out looking a little bit better in the second half, and we were in for it. But City, again, still finding a way to create the chances moving forward, and were when you compare the two teams, Mariners, I felt like we really struggled to transition from defense to attack. From having the ball in the back line to finding the attackers. There wasn't enough movement from the likes of Sai Goddard and Benny Nkolodu in this game. And that goes into lead into one of my first points, where we really missed Josh Nisbet today. We really missed Josh Nisbet. That's one of the biggest things, one of my biggest takeaways from this game. What Josh Nisbet brings, he's so dynamic in his play and unpredictable, and his energy and his work rate is so incredible. It's almost like there's two players playing on the right wing for the Central Coast Mariners. I don't know if you guys agree in the live chat, but Josh Nisbet he brings something else. Like, yes, Sai and Benny are good in their own right and have got fantastic qualities, but Josh Nisbet, he has to be starting, and it showed. And just to tie along with that, no Lewis Miller. I thought Storm Roo was quite ordinary today. He did have some good passages of play, some decent balls over the top. But overall, though, it was sloppy from Storm Roo. And so that lacking Lewis Miller. Again, Miller, the kind of player who loves to drive to the byline. We didn't really see that at all from Storm Roo. Not as much commitment to get into the opposition box to create those attacking chances. Think back to the semi-final on Tuesday. I mean, it was Lewis Miller who was working his way just to the edge of the box to win that penalty for the Central Coast Mariners on the Cup semi-final. We didn't have that. And on that right-hand side, two key players not on that right-hand side. It really made us look quite dull in attack, and we weren't as potent. The combination on that right-hand side was not there at all. Jezeboy says, why was Nisbet not playing? Yeah, just speaking of him, we from what we've heard, he's one of the guys that had contracted COVID, we believe, from what the club have said. It was Nikolai Muller, Joshie Nisbet, I think Garen Kowal was another one that was named, and Louis Miller, I think, as well, and there probably was one more I'm forgetting about, but there were a few players who Dan Hall was the other one who was out as well. So look, some key, and Dan Hall, that's another key one. I mean, Ruan did have a decent game though, it has to be said. So look, but yeah, that right-hand side, I mean, I had to highlight that because I thought that really cost us in this game. Aside from that, I don't want to blame the injuries and blame missing personnel, because City were missing so many personnel as well. But it was City who made, again, the pressure pay and took their chances when they got them. A fantastic crossing from Florent Berenguer to find Andrew Naboot at that far post, and the Socceroo, he doesn't miss from there. And Mark Birighitti, could he have done better at his near post? Maybe Jacob Farrell could have gotten in the way to block it. That opportunity, that second goal chance for City. We should talk about Mark Birighitti now, though. Some key saves in that first half to stop that one-on-one chance, I believe it was for Matthew Leckie. And that fantastic save to stop Aidan O'Neill's rocket from outside the box. Hey. And Soccer on the live chat says, what was the penalty situation? I didn't watch the game. We'll talk about the penalty situation in just a second, actually, which is the last goal. From the, I do want to mention as well, actually, before we talk about that last goal and the penalty debacle, potential penalty debacle, shout out to the young guys who made their debuts for this afternoon for the Mariners. James Bayliss, Cameron Windust. Again, just more of these young lads, local lads too, getting on the field for the Central Coast Mariners alongside, Matt Hatch, Harry McCarthy, and Harry Steele all got onto the field as well. So by the end there, it almost felt like it was the youth team playing, which isn't a bad thing because obviously these guys have been doing so well this season. But let's talk about that third goal. So Carl Jenkinson puts the ball in the back of the net after a corner is scrambled home for Melbourne City, 84th minute. I put out a tweet, and I still stand by that tweet. And basically I said that it was a handball, and it's a blatant handball. And from what the rules say, I legitimately can't think of why it was not given a penalty. Not overturned. Not overturned. So sorry, I didn't mean to be saying penalty. I meant to say the goal should have been disallowed earlier. There was a camera angle which shows it was Matthew Leckie who is the culprit, and there's a camera angle that clearly shows. Well, you don't even have to look at certain camera angles. The ball bounces up, and Leckie's arm is definitely away from his body. It's right out here. The ball comes up, and after hitting his arm, it does hit his arm. The ball comes back down. The ball just doesn't go up and just fly back down after, if it has to hit his arm for it to come back down once it's hit this height. I don't know. Watching, I couldn't comprehend how. There can't be a debate as to whether or not it hit his arm. There was clear camera evidence why it hit his arm. And it was involved, the commentators were talking about apparently whether it was deemed to have not been involved in the build-up of the play. I don't understand. It was literally the last thing to happen before Carl Jenkinson poked it home. I don't understand that. I don't understand it at all. So I don't know whether you guys on the live chat or in the comments can help me out with that. But it was a very bizarre one for me. It was a very bizarre one for me where it was a clear handball. I can't see how anyone can see it any other way. I put a poll up on Instagram, and I think majority of people, I think 70 or 80% people said yes, it was a handball. I like legitimate, and again, this is not me being biased, but like, you know, even if it wasn't my team, like it's his arm's away from his body and it hits his arm. The goal gets awarded. I legitimately can't think of a more blatant decision. Like, we see VAR decisions where like, oh, was it a penalty? You know, did he get tripped? Was it a foul in the blocks? Blah, blah, blah. All this stuff. For me, there's no question in this. There's no gray area for this. It struck his arm because you see the ball hit his arm and go and fall back down. The goal shouldn't stand. And they did check it for a while. Stephen Lucas, the referee, was holding the game for a second there. And Nick Montgomery was protesting on the sidelines. I'm not sure. Am I alone in this? Scotty in the chat. Good to see you in the chat. Scotty says, you're bang on. It was absolutely directly involved in the play. And that's the thing. So there's two things. Like, one, it absolutely strikes his hand. There's clear camera angles to show that. And two, the argument that it's not involved with the play, it's literally the last thing. It literally sets it up for his teammate to poke home. He's basically assisted with his arm. Matthew Leckie is assisted with his arm. Like, am I making sense here? Or am I going crazy? I don't know. Anyway, look, I won't keep ranting about it because I don't want to use it as excuses. The only thing is, it was around that 84th minute. Had that goal not have stood, 2-1, really then pushes the Mariners to go for the winner. From there, we were out of the game. Mariners looked dead from there. And it really showed in the end. I mean, stepping back and looking at the game, Melbourne City overall just had too much quality on the park. I mean, Florin Berenguer, Jay McLaren, Andrew Naboot, Matthew Leckie, Connor Metcalf. You know, these guys all won a championship last year. A lot of these guys, Socceroos, Marco Tilio, another Socceroo, just got his call up as well. This is a classy City side against a very young Mariners side who are missing some key players. When you put it like that, the result does seem to make sense. It does seem to make sense. Joel in the live chat says, I don't think it changed the game much anyway. It didn't really look like we were going to score after that. I do agree that overall it was poor. It was poor for the Mariners. And that's what I should say. I haven't really said that yet. But for me, and look, if you follow my content for a while, like, you know, I like to be positive and everything, but this is our worst performance of the season so far. That's quite easy to say. And that's easy to say too. Like, we've already lost 2 other games. We lost against MacArthur. We lost against Wellington. We played very well in those games and should have gotten something out of it. And if you go back to watch my live reactions for those games back on the YouTube channel earlier on, I was very upbeat, very positive, very, you know, optimistic, and with us going forward after those games. This one hits different. We just looked out of it. We looked lethargic. There was some very questionable pieces of play and some work to be done, and just hope that we can get some of these key players back, man. Some big news that I do want to talk about as well. Nick Montgomery has apparently confirmed in his post-match press conference, and it was confirmed pre-game. The rumors have not just rumors anymore. It's basically solid news. Jason Cummings, the Scottish striker, is coming to the Central Coast. He will be announced in the coming days. So that's big news for the Central Coast Mariners. Jason Cummings coming back into the side, joining the side, I should say. But Nisbet coming back into the side. Louis Miller, Dan Hall. You know, we'll have to wait and see how far Matt Simon is away. So there's firepower in this Mariners side that will come back. But look, what I will say is that it's now interesting. This is the highest quality of opposition we've played so far as competition. You know, a lot of our victories have been against less opposition. No disrespect to those teams, but teams that have been struggling. And this was our first real test. I was always concerned as a Mariners fan facing the 2 Melbourne clubs, Melbourne City, Melbourne Victory, who Melbourne City reigning champions. Victory have been the best team in the competition so far this season. Those were the 2 that were going to test us. And had we have won today, this would have been a completely different tone. I would have been super optimistic about this season because I was like, if this young side can beat the quality of Melbourne City, then we should be super optimistic about where the Mariners can go this season. But what this result has shown us is that, yes, Mariners are a very good side that have very good young players and the experience. I mean, Bozanic and Oreni were key today and did play well overall. There's still work to be done. We're still not capable of really outplaying those top sides, right? Yeah. Joel in the chat says Maresh can't shoot, in my opinion. Great player, but I know Matty Simon. Yeah, there was a couple of opportunities for Maresh where you think just with a little bit more commitment and a bit more accuracy, he would have found the back of the net. Dean says very unlucky today. Ash says don't forget Muller still to come back. Good point, Ash. Thanks for bringing that up as well. Yeah, absolutely. Nikolai Muller, again, another player who it's frustrating. It feels like it's been so long into this. Well, not that long. It's only been a couple months, I guess, into the season. We obviously haven't played that many games, but we've only seen Nikolai Muller for 10, 15 minutes. I want to see him on the park, man. So look, say everyone's fit for the next game, maybe barring Matt Simon, who could be out for a long term. I would maybe now want to see Arenya start up alongside Nikolai Muller. I think we should bench Maresh, utilize him as an impact player in the next game. That might be just something different to try. And I think injecting Nikolai Muller, I think we need his creativity. He's a different player. Nikolai Muller, the thing that excites me about him is that he's different to any other player we have in the squad. He's an attacking player. He's very versatile as well. So he plays as a striker, but his build-up plays is the key part of his game, and he's more about his assists, I guess, rather than his goals. So the combinations between Nikolai Muller and Michael Arenya is what really excites me as a Mariners fan. Hey, yeah, dude. So look, we're optimistic about. Look, I'm still optimistic about where the Mariners are heading, and this will just be like a little stumble on the roadblock. I'm sure of it, and still confident of where we're going moving forward as well. But yeah, Dean in the live chat here says, I felt like it was a bad idea to play a lot of youngsters against Melbourne, one of the best teams. But to be fair, Nick had no other option because the main players were out. 100%. No other option is a simple way to put it. And it's a shame that out of all the teams, out of the game, to be missing our key, I guess, like our star players, was against the reigning champion. So it didn't come at an ideal time. Look, great experience for the young guys who stepped up this game. But yeah. Hey, I'm going to do my 3-2-1 votes because for the Mariners players, even though we weren't at our best today, 3 points has to go to Mark Birighitti. Fantastic save in that second half. Incredible. Fantastic save in the first half as well to stop that one-on-one opportunity. He kept it to 3 goals, made sure it was no more than that. For my number 2, I'm actually going to go Oli Bozanic. I thought he kept us competitive the whole way through. Won the ball a few times in midfield, runs some crucial wins in midfield, crucial tackles, and is just so consistent for us. So 2 for Oli Bozanic, and 1 for Marco Arenya, who again he shows he plays with passion, and he scored a fantastic goal this afternoon as well. John, the live chat actually brings up a good point here. We'd love to get your thoughts on this. Actually, everyone in the chat, I feel like we may have too many strikers soon. Look, that's been that was my first concern that I had when the Cummings rumor first came about. And I'm very curious to see what Nick Montgomery does, whether he wants to throw Jason Cummings straight into the starting lineup. Because now we have, yes, Mariners do play with 2 strikers up top, but now we have Arenya, Maresh, Jason Cummings, Matt Simon when he comes back, Nikolai Muller, Damien Sekenis, the young guys, Damien Sekenis. We can play Harry McCarthy up there, probably Garen Kowal up there as well. We've even seen Joshy Nisbet played up front as well early on in the season. I feel like out of all the positions to strengthen, I just can't. I don't really understand why this is the position to go for. For me, either another central defender or central midfielder is sort of what I've been saying for the last few weeks. Those are the 2 positions that I feel like are probably we're not desperate to fill those because there's a lot of young guys coming through. But those are if I was going to bring in any player, it'd be there. And to bring in Jason Cummings, it's look. I won't be negative about it. I'm excited for a new player to come to the club, and he comes with a decent pedigree, with experience in England and Scotland as well. So it should be an interesting one as well. Scotty says that depends how versatile they are, though. Yeah. Chuck in the live chat says Melbourne City just seemed to really outclass the Mariners today. I think that's the headline after this game. Hey, yeah, just the inexperience of Central Coast Mariners. This side that was fielded today, especially towards that last half an hour. And again, credit to the young guys who got minutes on the pitch and put in a good effort. Shout out to as well Harry McCarthy and Matty Hatch, who made a bit of an impact coming off the bench with their pace. 3-2-1 votes though. Just to recap again: 3 for Mark Birigidi, 2 for Ollie Bozanic, our captain, and 1 for Mark Odereni getting on the score sheet as well today. Dr. Dingo says, I'm excited to see Carl Jenkinson play more. Look, credit to him for getting his first goal. And I actually said it. I said it. I did a YouTube short announcing the move. We were talking about it because it was a big move. And I wasn't expecting him to be involved in this game because the article released by Melbourne City said he was going to arrive in the country next week. And that was released a few days ago. So that was not true because not only was he in the country, but he played today. And not only did he play today, but he scored a goal today. Let's read a couple more comments here. Dean in the live chat says, we need to start looking for a new keeper because the commentators were saying that the Japan team were looking at getting Biras, and it might have been his last game today. I don't know if it's true or not, though. Yes, we have heard strong rumours that Mark Birigidi has been linked with a move away, which, look, yeah, is concerning. It is worrying because he's one of the best keepers in the competition. And it's going to be hard. It's a hard one to replace. Really, really hard one to replace. And Shaq in the live chat says, as a neutral, Mark Birigidi really impressed me today. Some impressive saves, especially that O'Neill volley. Fantastic save, wasn't it? Spectacular. Joel, dude, we would all love this. It says, let's get Matt Ryan back. Can you imagine if he came back to the coast, man? Dude, that'd be a dream. Scotty raises a good point here in the live chat. Depth of a squad is so important in the post-COVID game. It's very true. We are seeing that a lot. And even teams like Brisbane and Adelaide are playing at the moment. You know, Brisbane have been missing some players through COVID, I believe, as well. And so yeah, it's been affecting everyone as well. What will happen after his loan deal ends? Asks Chuck. I assume you're asking about Carl Jenkinson. You're asking about Carl Jenkinson, who we believe is on a 6-month loan. Yeah, I can't imagine he'd stick around afterwards. He probably just will enjoy his stint there, and yeah, man. But yeah, guys, look, Central Coast Mariners 1, Melbourne City 3, a disappointing result. But let's be optimistic about the future. We're in the FA Cup final, which we'll keep our eye on in terms of when that date gets announced. Hopefully we host, man. Fingers crossed. And hopefully we can get a big crowd to the final. And I'm sure we will. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into this live reaction and discussion. Always love hearing from you guys in the live chat. And again, if you're watching this on a replay, jump down in the comments. Let me know what were your thoughts on this game overall. Like, where did it go wrong for the Mariners today? With Melbourne City simply too good. That seems to be the general consensus in the live chat. And of course, keep an eye out here on the Coastal Football YouTube channel where we're doing live reactions after every single Mariners game, every round, whether it's in the A-League or the FA Cup. Keep an eye out as well for the round review, which will be dropping in the coming days to following round 11, as well as around predictions videos that come out around every Thursday as well. And again, we're doing a live match watch alongs where we watch the match and react live together here on YouTube. We're doing one for the Big Blue on Tuesday night, one of the big games this week in the A-League, so very excited to watch that one with you guys. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off there. Have a fantastic week. We move on to the next one.